finally. Sorry. It's been a day.
Yeah, we're here. Sorry for the late start, y'all.
It's my fault. Yeah.
Just a little
Um,
traffic between between friends, right?
well, to be fair, if you can't tell, it's also very overcast here. It's raining and stuff
Yeah, we're
today.
getting a little rain too.
It's also pretty chilly. But I went to to the other house to see my brother because he got into a car accident last night. He's okay. Um, but I went to stop over there and I took him out for breakfast. And normally I always give myself an extra half an hour if I'm going between the places for something that has a time constraint. And today I was like, oh, it's Saturday. It'll be okay. And I didn't give myself the extra buffer. And then I totally forgot because I'm not in that area that where two of our major highways intersect, they're doing massive construction and like redoing that whole massive interchange. And I was in like deadlock traffic. Um, so yeah, I will blame it on the fact that like my brother telling me last night at like midnight that he was in an accident and he was really kind of like blasé about it. Like it took him a while to say like I'm okay. Um I'm gonna blame
For
that on
shame.
yeah, I'm gonna blame that for being like a little discombobulated today with time and my brain and yeah,
Oh.
Stephanie's texting me and I'm like, oh my God, like it's taking like
Well,
once
I
the
just
traffic cleared, I was doing like 80.
yeah, you didn't mention that you would be like, because I know occasionally you have like a Saturday thing that gets you like here right at like 2 o'clock on the dot. And I didn't remember you saying anything about it. So I'm like, where is Jill? And I knew that your brother had been in a car accident. And I was like, oh gosh, I hope everything's okay.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm,
was
I'm
really
glad I'm glad you're here. It was just some traffic and it's all good.
mm-hmm.
And I'm glad Chris is okay.
Yeah, I was really like you should have seen me in the car. I'm like, come on, come on. Yeah, it was like there's nothing
Oh,
worse than that when like you're late, especially for something like you want to do. If I was late
mm-hmm.
for something I didn't want to do, I might be like, oh,
Oh well, laissez-faire.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. It's like, they always say the only two things that are inevitable in life are death and taxes. I'm like, no, there's three things: death, taxes, and traffic. At least if you live on the East Coast. Ugh.
well, the other thing too is apparently like all across the area, because when I was driving to the house, I took the back roads, I took the scenic route, and like lots of towns are having like community like yard sales and stuff today, it seems. There was one across the street here that I only noticed when I was leaving the house, and I was like, oh wow, I can't go to that. Then like there was another one down the street, and then as I'm like going through all these downtown areas, like wow, there's a lot of those. And I'm like, under normal circumstances, they'd be really crowded and I wouldn't want to go. But since today's weather wasn't great, I was like, oh, I maybe would have gone to those because they weren't as crazy. And then
Yeah.
I kept remembering like it's Mother's Day weekend. Like,
Yes. You know what? This is terrible. I had just a quick telehealth appointment this morning, just a checkup kind of thing, and with the nurse practitioner, and she said, you have a child, right?" And I'm thinking she's asking because we've been talking about, something about like just, craziness of life and all that. And I'm thinking she's asking, "You have children at home, right?" Like, and that's where my mind is. And I was like, "Well, yeah, but he's in his late 20s, so like I don't." And she's like, "Well, you're still a mother." And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, happy Mother's Day." And I was like, "Oh." That's
yeah,
what
my
she's
brain wouldn't have
asking.
gone there either.
I know, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I feel so stupid." And then it was right at the end of the appointment. So, we're like hanging up and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I think she has children too." And I didn't say happy Mother's Day. I was like, "Oh, I've been thinking about that since this
You're
morning."
such a
Bad
jerk.
person. Yeah. So, my mom will be lucky when she gets her call tomorrow because it means I remembered it's Sunday and Mother's Day. If it's not on
Yeah.
the calendar, it didn't happen.
Well, that and like this week and next week the calendar, like the schedule is like pretty tight, like
Yeah.
things to do. Um, like I won't even have my regular like Tuesday all day to read. I'm gonna have to kind of parse my reading in between now and Tuesday, which I'm like kind of stressing out about.
Oh,
Um,
that just that made me wonder. Is your because you have two. So Jill has two house guests coming this coming week. One is our friend Sarah, and the other one is me. So, is Sarah going to be there during on Tuesday, or does she leave on Tuesday? I
no,
can't
not
remember.
for our stream. I'll be with her Tuesday day.
And then she leaves
Um,
to go home.
that's her plan.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, I don't know, Sarah, girl, if you're watching, I don't know. I'm like, I think she's a little crazy to try to drive home 3 hours
Yeah,
after being
that's
in
right. I
Bloomfield
remember
all
you said
day.
she's. Yeah, you guys are gonna do uh
Brimfield.
Brimfield. I don't know why I can't ever think of it. Yeah, and
So,
then she's gonna go home.
and in order to do it right, we got to get up at the butt crack of dawn. Now she's got younger kids, so getting up, she's used to that. Um, we have to get to the fields no later than 8:30. And that's if you want to get the parking space that you want. And I do. I want to choose where I park. You have to be very strategic about where you park.
You don't want to
Um,
have to pay somebody a mile away to park in their front yard, right?
so I am gonna pay someone to park in their front yard. No, what it is so the actually no, I could find photos. Hold on. So Brimfield, for anyone that isn't uh heard of it, it's one of the largest antique shows in the country. It happens in Brimfield, Massachusetts, 3 times a year in May, July, and September. Um, and it's crazy. So Brimfield is next to Sturbridge, Massachusetts, which you've heard of, Sturbridge,
Oh my
where,
gosh, that's the aerial view. I don't know that I've ever
yeah.
seen that.
So,
I've seen pictures from within the somebody wandering around in the booths, but oh my gosh,
yeah,
that is enormous.
I wish I could like get rid of this. Let's see if I could just find the image.
Well, I think it's pretty clear even without the that date
Um,
thing on there. That's enormous.
so this is the main road right here.
Mhm.
And that's it. That's the only road. Okay.
Mhm.
And this is the only thing that's in Brimfield. There is nothing. So when the fair's not going on, these are just empty fields. And this is actually backwards. So the way we come in, we come from this direction over here. But so see like this little thing, that's a church. That's the beginning.
Okay.
And people the church makes a killing letting people park on their property.
Mm.
Um and there are 20 fields.
That's
So we're
wild to
not
me.
even really seeing the gist of the whole thing
Mhm.
here. Each field has, so like this is all tents. This is the parking in the back.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
so a lot of what you're seeing, there's thousands of dealers. Um, so you either have to get in here from an exit on the highway over here or all the way through Sturbridge back over here. And then
Mhm.
when you want to leave, you might have to drive through this, which is where all the pedestrians will be going from field to field to field. There's no sidewalks.
So they walk on the road or on
Yeah, they
the
have
edge
to.
of the
And
road.
yeah, I don't know. I really wish the town would invest in some sidewalks because this is what makes the town their money.
Yeah.
Um, so because the walking it's uneven walking, it's weird, um so yeah, and so I often park down here at the beginning, even if I want to shop something way over here closer to the end, because that means when I leave, I don't have to deal with all of this.
Hmm.
I just walk through it. I don't drive it. Now, that being said, like it's not awful. You can get through. You're just going 5 miles an hour and it takes a while.
I
So
think of it like trying to leave a big stadium concert
yeah,
with
kind of
like
it's not as
10,000 people,
it's not
10,000 other
as
people at the same time.
yeah, it's not a stop and go. There's no street lights here.
Mhm.
You just have to go slow because there's pedestrians and cars. Let's see here. Oh, here's another aerial view. Um, this is just so here the main road is going this way. This is the
Mm-hmm.
road.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
you know
really
that like
nice
that, and
when you
that's a
get on.
parking lot there at the bottom of that picture, right?
Yep, this right here
That
is the
doesn't
parking
look
lot.
very big for cars, and
But
it's
that's
not.
so you see these trees?
Mm-hmm.
It's one field out of 20.
Okay, so every one of those
Every
has its
field
own
has
little parking
parking.
area. Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is you have to drive through all the vendors, which again, that's where people walk to get to the parking in the back. So every field, like there's parking over here. Yeah, every field's got parking. So all of this, these are all vendors.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice because this particular field over here, they have vendors all the way back to this gorgeous river.
Wow. And
It's
what
really
river is
lovely.
that? Do you know?
I have no idea. Um, it's really gorgeous, and there's only one like this field here, that's the only real field that has trees in the field. These other fields, the trees are on the end of the field, so
Mm-hmm.
that's like the
Yeah, the
nicest, that's the coolest field to be
mm-hmm.
on because it's got tree cover, everything else doesn't. So it gets in July, God bless their souls because it's hot.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, I realize like you can't do anything in winter, late fall, you know.
Yeah, so here's the road. You can see there's no sidewalks. This looks like somebody's blog that had gone before.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Of
just
course.
it's
I don't know. I
like
just always hear from people, and I don't think I really knew anything about Brimfield until I really got into like needlework tools and quilts, collecting those things. So it's only maybe been, I don't know, 10 or 15 years that I've known about
mhm.
Brimfield, and I've seen the pictures, and I'm just like, I feel like it's not for me, because not because of the difficulty of all the walking and the all the I just think I would be so overwhelmed, and I either go from like, oh my gosh, I have to have everything I see, and I'd be bankrupt like in the first 10 feet, or I'm so overwhelmed like I just can't even look at stuff. Like there's so much.
There is,
Oh, yowza.
yeah, there is a lot. But you're not, you can't do it all in one day.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
it's a whole week long. Um, I have never even done the entire show. I have not been to all the fields at any time. So
And if I remember correctly, I mean, there's no like consistency. Like one field might have vendors of a certain type.
oh yeah, no, nothing's like that.
They're
No.
just.
They're just everywhere.
And
There's no each.
is there a way, like if there's a particular vendor you want to go to, is there a way to find them? Like,
Yeah,
can they tell you where they're gonna be?
yep. Each so when you
Like drop a pin. I almost feel like you need that. You need
they
the GPS.
yeah, they have like the vendor spots, the fields have names
Mm-hmm.
and they have vendor spots on them.
Oh, okay.
So there is a Facebook group that is for the show, and people will go in there like searching for, and people will, I'm in here, Shelton's, blah 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 booth,
Gotcha.
or um
I could
whether
also
or not
see.
you find them.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I could picture never being able to like.
Well, that is one thing. The whole concept of like if you're in an antique store, I'm gonna look at something else. I'll come back to this. Forget it.
Yeah, you never do. It's like buy it now if you see it and you want it and you have the money for it. Just get it.
Because, well, and never mind the fact that it's very likely that someone else is gonna come by and buy it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also very likely that you're not gonna find them again.
Exactly. Well, I remember when I helped you. You came down and did the Mid Atlantic Antiques thing down in Poolsville, in Maryland, and that wasn't an enormous show. Plus
No,
the
that
fact the
was
weather was.
probably more like 40 to 50 dealers.
Yeah, yeah, it was very small, but even and there was some of that was indoor, some of it was outdoor, and the weather was terrible, so it wasn't like all that crowded. But I just feel like the quick little jaunts that we did a couple times around during the 2 days, um, I just feel like I would not have, with the exception of the things indoors, I probably would not have found, if I'd seen something and walked away from it and tried to come back, I probably would not have found out there. I struggle like that in an antique mall too. So
Um,
hello, Princess Roblox,
yeah,
North
it's
Carolina. I just came back from there a couple weeks ago.
oh. Yeah, I like North
Yeah.
Carolina. I did my grad school
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah,
I've said a few times, if I ever thought I would live somewhere not in New England, I could see myself living in North Carolina.
yeah, I personally would be between North and South Carolina because of my family, and I'd probably pick North Carolina because the politics are a little better there.
And it's not as hot as South Carolina can get. Just a little better. Just a
Exactly.
little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Coastally, well, I mean, I grew up going down there a lot because my family down there. Coastally, I like North Carolina better. It's a little bit of everyman, and it's very nice. Still very nice. South Carolina coastal gets a little like, you know, expensive. Let's put it that way.
I
So
mean,
you got
I
Myrtle
was in
Beach, and then you got the islands, and the islands are nice.
Yeah, I didn't go. I didn't have a chance really to go over there when I was down there. I was in Winston-Salem, and one reason, which is categorized as a city, but it's one of those small cities where they have city and suburbs in the same city kind of thing. And I really liked that. I really felt like less of a culture shock going from here to down there because I found I wasn't wanting for a whole lot. I could still kind of get everything I would have been able to get here. It was just kind of shaped a little differently. So, and right down the street from my house. Oh my God, you're in Greensboro, girl. I like Greensboro. There was an Indian place in Greensboro I really liked. Um,
Yeah, my dad actually grew up in Greensboro from the time I think he was 8 until he was about 16, I think, and then my
I actually, if I
grandparents
remember
moved
correctly,
north.
too, there might have been an antique store I liked in Greensboro, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a
but
nice area.
I I know I've said this before, but down at the end of I lived on like, just your average old like kind of neighborhood street. At the very end of my street was a quilt store, a gaming store because my partner and my brother would come visit and they're both gamers, and a super hole in the wall, cheap as can be diner
And
and
I
a
know
gas
you like
station.
diners. And at
I
that point,
do.
when you were in grad school, you had started quilting, right? Because didn't you was
So
right around then? Because I remember your mom passed away, and then
she passed 2 days before I was supposed to move to North Carolina. Like, I'd already rented a house, I'd already signed a lease, and my stuff was already in shipment to North Carolina. And then she passed 2 days very suddenly, before I was supposed to leave. So I, like, deferred the start of my grad school because I had to deal with, her estate and all that crap. But Sunday and I did have to rush down there to unpack my pod unit into the house,
hmm
so I could return it. And we did do that. But I decided in those 3 months that I had deferred that I was going to try quilting before liquidating her stuff. But I was like, I can't lug all this stuff to North Carolina. In hindsight, I would have had room for like to set up a machine and just a little, like maybe had if I like cut everything out ahead of time. I
hmm
had room for that. Um so I found what she would have categorized as her scraps. I bought a AccuQuilt Go cutter and a few dies, simple dies, squares, triangles. And I brought that to North Carolina and I would process her scraps into stuff while watching like Missouri Star YouTube videos. And then when I would come home for like the summer, I had found a studio like an hour away with a woman that was like, "Oh my God, like come here, I'll teach you to quilt. I've got some girls that come on Thursday night. We have fun." Like, "Yeah, come here." And that's how that started. And then I found out after I left Winston-Salem that at the time, Bonnie Hunter lived in Winston-Salem, like down the street.
I remember you told me that.
Yeah, like I found that out. She used to have a thing, she used to run a live stream where she was just, oh my God, what did she call it? Quilt cam, quilt, quilt cam. I think there was quilt cam. Um, and she'd just have it on in her sewing room and she'd just be chatting with the camera and then she'd have people email her to like talk to her. And yeah, at one point she's talking about Winston-Salem and I'm like, So I finally, and then I realized, oh my God, she's mentioning restaurants that I go to. Like she mentioned that she met up with a friend at Nuab Indian, and oh my God, I miss that place so much. And I finally wrote her an email one day and was like, she'd moved, and she now lives just at the border of North Carolina and
Hmm.
Virginia in the mountains.
In a
I
very lovely area.
Yes, it's very lovely. Her She runs a retreat house there that I've been to a couple times, but I had emailed her before that and was like, I used to live like down the street. She's like, oh my God, we could have been sewing. And I'm like, yeah, we could have. I didn't know who you were back then.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I want to say, there's a good number of kind of like famous quilt people and in the sewing industry as well that are in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So that also makes it a good state. Yeah, I don't know. My husband and I don't picture us staying in Maryland forever, even though we've been here for
Going
almost
further
30
south is
years.
not acceptable.
Well, my mother has said going further north or west is also not acceptable. So, but I think that we would probably just go back to Virginia if we didn't stay here after he retires. So, I guess we'll be making a decision in about 4 or 5 years.
Can you go to like Pennsylvania? So at least like there's something really cool. Like there's cool stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, Pennsylvania, West Virginia have a better tax situation for retirees.
Well, you
So
don't,
that's,
I mean, you can like spit on the border. So like, can you just go up over into the just a little bit?
yeah,
And
well, I don't know. To have to learn a new state. I mean, I've been in Maryland for almost 30 years. I can't imagine having to learn a new state.
I
Just
know,
go
but
back to
like
the one I came from.
think of all like the cool road trips and stuff. Like there's cool stuff out there. And can you get a place like can you get a shed for me in the backyard or something?
Jill's she
Like
shed. Well,
yeah.
my mother gets first dibs on the backyard like abode. she
Well, I mean, okay, well, here's the thing. If your mom has to sell her house because you're gonna get her a granny pod in the backyard, then there'll probably be enough money to get two.
she also has an idea of us coming and living in her house and she moves into the basement or a granny pod and I'm like I don't see that happening.
Well, I mean, and if you get two like granny pods in the back, the one that's for me, you could make your studio and just put a Murphy bed in it. I just need a place to sleep. Like that's it. Like you know.
Yeah, well, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. So, I guess because of your traffic kerfuffle, you don't have a project to work on today.
I mean, I have
So,
my never
I'm doing the heavy lifting as far as stitching and glitching.
well, I have
um,
my never-ending hexies.
I have crocheted this. This is my fourth attempt. I keep losing track of the stitches.
What is that a shoelace?
No, this is that chenille thread, that chenille
Oh,
yarn. Oh, it's so soft and like, but the thing it makes. Oh, you guys. Okay, so people that watch my stream already know what this thing looks like. It is so horrifying. So, Jonathan Adler, do you know who he is?
I don't know.
Famous interior designer.
Okay.
His husband is Simon Noon, who is Project Runway. You know, so Jonathan Adler, potter, designer, and author. He's like one of those people who decided to create a brand, you know, in the 90s and like he's famous and rich now. And I'm like, I've created brands all the time and I'm not rich. But
Okay.
he works with Michaels and he has released all these craft kits. And you know, I'm a sucker for a craft kit because I collect them. I have a whole bunch of vintage craft kits, quilt kits. And they had a really good discount running recently. I think it was like 40% off. And
Oh,
so,
that's your favorite designer, no matter whose name is on it. On
but
sale.
yeah, 40% off. So I bought a couple of these because they're crafts that I'm not like. I did this diamond art thing. Hey, Marianne. So I did this diamond art thing, right? They're bookmarks. I'll pull
Huh.
it out and show you the one I finished. It was actually, so I was surprised. I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this craft here, but it turned out good. This is the crochet craft. It is a baboon. the most horrifying thing you've ever seen. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Jonathan Adler. This
is
is
that
not good.
are you making that so that it's like double T's nightmares?
Yeah, maybe. It's gonna be kind of small. Like this is the top of its head. Like you do several rounds of increases, and I'm not the best crocheter because like this is not my craft. Like I mean I know how to crochet, but so yes, I am attempting to make this a baboon. um and I still don't. I just whack myself in the face. I don't know why he designed this or somebody designed this and put his name on it because it's very weird looking. There's two kits that have owls. There's like a giraffe or a, I think it's a giraffe, and then there's a lion. And so I guess he was kind of going with this like jungle slash savannah animals or something. I don't know. But if you go to Jonathan Adler Design, like his website, you can kind of see like some of his really kind of famous designs, like surface design stuff that translated over to these kits.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this, like stuff like this, where it's like, like, where did this come from? So, and it's interesting because I've noticed, you know, I'm sure they have teams of people that, you know, write instructions and all that kind of stuff. And some of them are better. Some of them are much better written than others.
Mm-hmm.
So here is, I'll show you the diamond art. I didn't even know what diamond art was until my stepmother was working on one for her granddaughter. So this is the bookmark I did.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I see it's sparkly and pretty.
Yeah.
And so Betsy over on my stream, she's there a lot. She made a couple of suggestions because she does diamond art, and so because it's still sticky. It's like a sticky thing that you peel it off and then stick the little diamonds on.
Mm-hmm.
And she said sometimes people spray coat them, you know, with like a clear varnish, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people use mica powder and like just tap it on there, and it covers up the sticky. And I was like,
Huh.
that'll make it extra sparkly. And I, you know, as being multi-craftual, I do have some like, you know, paper art type stuff. I know I have some mica powder.
Mm-hmm.
So, although the thickness of this thing, like I would not put this in a book I care about. And then the fact that
Abrasive.
there's the ASMR for you. It's bumpy, and it if you squish it in a book, the page is going to pick up this pattern. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I liked the art. It was very soothing, you know, just kind of shut your brain off and just, it's like almost paint by number, sort of a cross between cross stitch and paint by number.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
I liked this one.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more on the expensive side, but the craft I'm really in love with. I'm halfway done with it, and I want to finish it soon. Punch needle. Isn't it cute?
When did you start that?
Last weekend I did most of it. I did
I,
one
I
half of it.
you kept saying you wanted to do some punch needle things, but you didn't say you were.
So here's the thing with the punch needle. A good friend of ours does punch needle. She makes beautiful little things. And
I have some.
do you have some of her things?
I have a black cat, and I have this like sunflowery kind of sun looking thing.
You know, every time she releases some stuff, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I want to get that. And then I realize like she's made it custom for somebody. So,
She came out with a black cat one like shortly after we had lost our cat that was black. So I was like, I need to get one.
yeah, I
And then,
think I'm probably just gonna have to ask her to make one. You know,
well, neither of the ones I
yeah,
have were
do a
custom
commission.
made for me. She was just selling them. And then the sunflower type thing was
Mm-hmm.
one of the first ones she'd made, and I was like, I need to have it.
Oh, and they're so cute, you know. And it's interesting because she's coming from the quilting world, but she retired, and she's just kind of like her retirement is about being
Her retirement is
multi-craftual.
about art. Yeah, she's doing painting now.
Yes, she's done painting and collage. She's taken like, you know, art classes, like hardcore like easel art classes, which I think is wonderful. I think that's so great. But so when I like first got to know her and saw what she was doing, I was like, I have been wanting to try punch needle for a really long time.
I bought
So
a puncher.
I have, and this is not, I actually talked to her about this. I was like, do you use an Oxford? And she's like, no, she uses this different brand, but I bought an Oxford needle. These are not cheap. I made my own frame where you put, staple gun, these carpet tacking things. They're like, these sort of bent needles, and you stretch your canvas on that. And I even made, because those little carpet tack frame things around the frame are very pointy and they hurt if you like run your arm over it. So what the punch needle people do is they make literally like a little scrunchie all the way around it, like out of fleece material. So I had some scrap fleece material. I had, some scrap elastic back during, COVID mask making. And so I
Mm-hmm.
made the little thing. And then I proceeded to put it all in the corner. All of the supplies were in a box, and I have not done anything with it. And I even mocked out the first one I was gonna do. And this is like punch needle, like this is big punch needle, like literally a rug. And I thought, I guess I was just intimidated by the size of it. I kept thinking like, I'll start doing this and it'll take me the rest of my life to finish this thing, and I'll get frustrated. And so when I saw that there was a punch needle kit, and it was cute because it's a sunglass case or an eyeglass case. There was actually 3 different ones, and I have this one. I was like, I can try that. It's not. I think by the time with the discount, I think I paid less than $20 for the kit, and the contents of the kit are pretty decent. There's a decent embroidery hoop, and the punch needle is like very bare basic. I think they make, outside of the Oxford one, I think they make ones that are more ergonomic. This one, I like, my hand was kind of cramped, but I am in love with punch needle now. Like it's
Oh
really fun.
no. Dun dun dun.
But here's the thing. I mean, like these, and I explain this. I've explained this a few times, like on my stream, that I like always, I always have to have my hands moving. I suffer from very bad anxiety all my life, and um, if I don't have that, like, let one side of my brain relax while the other side is doing something, or
You like trick your brain not to think
yeah,
about anxious
like
stuff.
I multitask a lot this
Mhm.
way. Like I listen to podcasts and audiobooks while I craft or sew. And, you know, as much as like quilting and sewing are so very important in my
Mhm.
life, it has become a little like work because I'm, working on things for galleries and um for, to shows and things, and that becomes like work. It's not really a hobby anymore. So this
Mhm.
becomes a hobby, this kind of stuff.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and so I have like,
Really cute.
will I sell any of these things? No, I will not.
Yeah.
Well, if you wanna buy one of the one-offs, you're welcome to. But yeah, I will not be going into business with any of this. Um,
You
and
won't be
speaking,
monetizing your hobby?
I will not be monetizing my hobby. And you know what? That's one of the things that I think I haven't thought about in a really long time. But I can't remember. I think it might have been badass quilter
Uh-huh.
on Instagram. Oh gosh, what is her name? Um, Maddie. I think her name is Maddie.
Yep. Yep.
She was talking about recently, um, you know, while she was sewing something in public, like on a plane or something like that. You know, somebody saying something to her, and of course she kind of went down this whole patriarchy, you know. But somebody saying something to her like, "Oh, you're doing this craft," and she's like, "Well, it's my business." And "Oh, isn't that nice? You have this little side hustle monetizing your hobby." And she's like, "It's not a hobby. It is my main job."
Mhm.
And I think about that people always want you to monetize,
To
monetize a hobby.
justify.
Yeah, to justify doing it. And that's great. If that's what you want to do, like you care about something. So I mean that's why, quilts and fiber art are so important to me. I went to school for it. I finally came back around after 2 careers, and I'm like, this is what I do. And I am an artiste. And but making stuff for galleries is, you're not necessarily just letting your freedom, your creativity run. Like you don't have it's not a lot of freedom.
Mhm.
um because you are making things for somebody else's idea, you know unless you have
Pleasure.
independent if you have independent gallery representation, then you can just crank some stuff out, say, this is my style, like it or lump it. It's out here, you can collect it. But that's another rung up the ladder
Mm-hmm.
from where I am at because of my late start getting back into, the art grind, the big A art grind, which is a big A art grind. So it's not as fun. I have to be honest. Like, sometimes I really have to push myself to finish something that is meant for a show.
Do you want to see something to cheer you up?
Yes. Oh, I'm already cheerful. So, but yes, I would like to see something. Okay, there's a lot of.
You remember that thing, right?
I do. I do. I do.
So yeah, I'm in my, what am I calling this room right now?
One of your many rooms.
The first stop on the inventory trail.
Okay.
Like,
Yes,
um,
for the first room in the inventory highway.
yeah, and yeah, I remember when I had bought this little like doll purse.
It's like a little
Um,
project bag. That's what I thought of it as. I'd
yeah,
forgotten
you
about
you
that.
were like you need to hold on to this for me. So I had like set it aside,
Oh my gosh, it's so adorable.
and
It goes with
I
it. It will go with my little tiny sewing roll.
oh, I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say it can be a purse for that like demon thing that you're crocheting.
Oh
Um,
no, no. Double T is the one who gets all the fun accessories and
so
whatnots.
yeah, I was just coming in here to straighten up, consolidate some stuff, and it's been sitting on my table.
Yeah, hold it up again so
Uh,
everybody can see.
I'm not sitting. I wonder if like turning this overhead light on is gonna make it better or worse. Because, like I said, it's really overcast today, so it's really dark out.
Yeah, I can I can see the
These
light
lights,
coming
I
in
just
is
want to
kind of.
warn you, I know these lights don't look like much at the moment. They're about to get very bright. They're those ones that warm up.
Ah, yes.
Well, I guess it
And
did make it better.
a little flappy. It's a little flappy. Oh,
Nappy.
so
Like
cute.
here's the size. So
Absolutely adorable.
yeah, it's made more contemporarily, but it's made with antique fabric.
Yeah, my little needle case or little sewing roll. I think it's got some homespun in there. Um, I think it was also one of those. It was made later.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it still qualifies as an antique even in the making. I mean, I think it's like turn of the century at the very most recent. But there's definitely a piece of homespun in there and some other pretty old fabrics that were probably like the teeniest, tiniest little scraps that just never made it into, a quilt or something bigger, and they were just right for a little doll's sewing
Mm-hmm.
roll.
Well, one reason I was farting around in this room the other day is because somebody had asked me if I had any whole cloth quilts in my inventory. And so I'm like, looking in my thing online. And see, there we go.
Oh, there you go.
um, and I'd remembered that I had like at least a whole cloth white. I have a whole cloth chintz that you've seen that has a
Hmm.
date and some initials on the back. Um, and I was like, yeah, I need to find it. And I looked through stuff upstairs, didn't find it. You know where I found it? On the bottom of this quilt
Oh,
pile.
of Mount Quilt Pile.
It had been in the bottom since going to the show in Maryland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I took
Yeah.
it there. Like you've seen it before.
Yeah, that's been a few years ago.
Um, yeah, you're definitely probably not going to be able to see the quilting very well. See these concentric circles?
Hmm. Yeah, I remember this quilt. Very pretty.
Yep. And
I was terrified for this quilt because it was very rainy and muddy where we were.
yeah, and this is the quilt's a knife edge binding and stuff. So now that I've got that out, I've got to grab and another reason I was like, I'm really not gonna get pictures of it today because it's crappy out. So I'm hoping tomorrow is good enough. But in peeling that back, I found a couple others that I want to go list in my vintage booth. One of them being this like cute, like
Oh,
middle school girls' room, like
oh, that's really cute.
across.
With the, and they're all those tulips, like
Yep,
the cross tulips.
yep. Because I'm hoping to make a quick run to my vintage booth tomorrow. So like this is a cute like baby kit quilt.
Oh, lammies, how cute!
Yeah.
I love those. Those. I mean, is it the one that it's stitched all the way through? Like the back, was it one where it was already quilted?
No.
Oh, okay. I know there's those ones where the kit comes with the fabric is already quilted and like you literally just
No.
kind of cross stitch
No,
right
it's
through
not
it.
one of those. No.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I saw those. I thought the person had made a mistake. And then I realized when I later on saw an actual kit still packaged, I was like, "Oh, they literally sold them like this."
Mm-hmm. My puppy now is in here just like milling around. But yeah, I figured because what happened was is I was kind of this door that you see here boom, is the door to Butler's pantry. And um I kind of gathered up a bunch of bags and stuff just on the floor there of like display pieces that I had bought at shops to put in my antique cases. And they were just like all in the way. So I was putting those up on the shelves because the butler's pantry also needs to be like overhauled. But since you and Sarah are coming to visit, I was like, I should probably make this room somewhat navigable in case you
Mhm.
want to look at anything in here. Just for funsies. And not to mention too that y'all, I just bought another bunch of quilts. And I
She
need to
is
keep those.
unstoppable. She's unstoppable.
I need, well, it's not me. I'm not going out there being like standing on
Okay,
the
the
corner
people that
like
keep offering you quilts are unstoppable.
guys. Um and I need to make sure I keep those separate because those are the ones that are going to those are the ones that are going to launch my Shopify site. Um but yeah, believe it or not, this quilt stack has gone down. I don't know if you actually remember. Let
Oh,
me
I
see.
remember it was dangerously tall at one point.
Okay. So you see the glass cases behind it?
Uh-huh.
It
Yeah, you
was
weren't able to
up to
see
the
those at
top of
one time.
those. Yeah, it was up to the top of those. So it has gone down.
Yeah, you've done
Um,
good.
but you're not seeing, I mean, I love you guys. We're all friends here, right? So like I'm going to show you, like look at this room. Like there's just a path currently. There's a doggy. Look at that rat.
We've got rats. um,
Um so yeah, we were talking about boxes yesterday. For I have a couple of boxes over there to get going to put collection quilts away. Yeah, just a lot of things that just are like in like a shift mode.
is this the same room that you had that very large, like credenza type thing with the drawers? Is this the same room with that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay.
Yep. I'm slowly starting to put stuff in those drawers.
I know you
I
had to air it out, right?
yeah, I'd opened them up and just let them stay open and it's been significantly better. For anyone that was asking when I got this piece, it was kind of the drawers were musty. And but I'm also slowly like it's really just a case of like stuff was coming in and I'm just like pleh, 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 and then like it becomes like you just pled so much there's no rhyme or reason. So then I have to like reshift and because lately you and I both have been really busy with lots of projects and then like it's you need a good chunk of time to really like
Yeah.
go through a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. I had kind
So,
of reorganized things and the other day I was looking for something and I'm like, "Oh, here's where I had just shoved a bunch of things when I was just trying to get them out of the way versus
yep.
marrying them with, it was like some of my cut and sew panels. for my collection, and then a couple of kit quilts and stuff.
Yeah, like I have, if you guys remember when Vanessa was here and we were picking out quilts to go to a study day where people were actually going to, I was going to
Hmm.
crowdsource cataloging them. We got through, we prepped 4 or 5 bags of quilts. I think we got through at least like 3 bags, including that big honking trash bag. So I've left those quilts in the bags to keep them aside because now all I have to do is take those bags upstairs to be
And take
photographed.
pictures. Yeah.
Um, so I can like get those out of the way because you're not going to stay in the room where that's going to happen. And, so I'm just kind of using the excuse of having company to just freshen up this room a bit. It's not going to be like this pristine, but you couldn't walk in here the other day, so I've made some space.
Much
I've
appreciated.
condensed I've condensed some
OSHA thanks you.
things.
So Marianne says she just saw a video where a person cut up a quilt for a coat. Yes, we know about these people. Some of
Have
these people have bought quilts from Jill, and she has found out later that that's what they were for. And it's
have
like,
I yeah, have I told everybody that story here? I don't think I have. Um and
you've had
this
a
was
couple of them.
2023, the beginning of like 2023. So I can actually show you guys the quote. Hold on. The first time that I made a sale where I knew they were going to cut up the quilt like they told me after um where what am I doing here? I was gonna say I was just in here yesterday looking at stuff. Where is
There's major collector, and now I'm totally blanking on her last name. Marjorie. She's got a fantastic early 20th century quilt collection. And it hung in, I want to say it was in Nashville, QuiltCon in Nashville.
mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, what's her Childress, Marjorie Childress.
Oh, okay.
There was a story, and I cannot remember. Somebody bought a quilt from her, and I mean, would have been something with not an insignificant price tag because she's got some really top notch, like great folk art type stuff. And I guess the person in the process of making payment said, yeah, this will be great. I could get this to my quilt coat maker. And I think Marjorie Childress was like, here's your money back. You will not be doing this to this quilt. And I may have the story wrong. I may be like imagining that, and maybe it's like what she wanted to say. But something tells me she actually did like rescind rescind a transaction.
I know some other dealers have done that.
Yeah, and I was like, well, that's gutsy, but also good for you. Like here's the thing: I have no problem, and I've said this many many times. I have no problem cutting up my own work. I have cut up my own quilts. I've made a number of quilts, and I look at them, and I'm like, they didn't turn out how they wanted. They didn't. They just don't give me the feeling I wanted to have when it's done. And so I took pictures. It hung out there a while. No galleries wanted them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't submit them to any shows, and I was like, okay, getting these babies out, cutting them up. And so I did. And I cut them up, and I made other things. And I have made a quilt jacket out of a quilt that was so very. I mean, it was literally ready for the like trash can. um, I had to do a lot of like really creative cutting to avoid all of the shabbiness and the holes. And I still feel bad about it because I'm just like, I still feel bad about it. I don't like the idea of wearing a quilt. I think there are quilts that I don't feel so bad about, so
Yeah.
things made in the 80s and 90s maybe. But yeah, anything that's before mid-century, those things are limited,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
I this is the one. Um this is the one. And
oh,
yeah, I'll never forget this story. This was a quilt that like, I mean, it's not perfect,
mhm.
but it's one that I even had um, questioned. I'm just looking to see if there's like a hole. There you go. questioned like, oh, maybe I want to hold on to this for a while because like it's just cool. I really like these colors
Yeah,
together.
I really, really, really like the design
Um,
of this one.
so it just so happened that she was local. And so we met up in person to do the deed. And as I'm
And you're like,
handing her the
here's
quilt,
the quilt. Oh no, 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 give
yeah,
it back.
like she then tells me like she's gonna use it, like she's gonna send it to a coat maker. And I was just like, I'm so happy, be like, oh, and that's so and I got in the car, y'all, and I called Steph and I cried. Like I like cried the whole way home. And it's funny because I remember when I was thinking about whether or not to pull the trigger on being like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna start like dealing in quilts and whatever. I realized I had to come to terms with that. Like
Yeah,
I had to come to terms with the fact that I can't decide what happens to things after I sell them. I may not know. And in this lady's case too, like she was so excited. She even like sent me a video of like the coat afterwards. And don't get me wrong, it was really pretty. But I'm just like, that was a really cool quilt.
you know, the thing is, like, I mean, for those of you, I know some of you are a generation, you know, older than me, and have, you know, been around and, you know, saw the quilt revival of the 70s, and, you know, all of the products and patterns that came out in the 80s and 90s. There are so many patterns for making your own quilt fabric and then turning it into a jacket or a vest or whatever.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
so many of those. And, you know, and to me
Mhm.
it's like, well, then you can have the fabric you want, the colors you want, everything. And
Mhm.
but and they probably, I don't remember how much you had price wise on that quilt, but I feel like you could probably get like get somebody to make, if you yourself are not a quilter, get somebody to piece you a small, you know, yardage of whatever pattern out of whatever fabric you like for about the same price.
Mhm.
You know, it doesn't necessarily, I mean, it doesn't have to be a finished quilt, and it doesn't have to
Mhm.
be like a king size quilt.
Mhm.
I would say, I want to say the quilt that and it truly was literally like the person who asked me, did I want it? She said, if you don't want it, it's going in the trash.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like that. So, but I think it was like it was a twin size. And, you know, I got um, you know, a lady's 2XL sized like varsity jacket cut out of it. So it doesn't take a very huge piece.
No.
And
No, it
you
certainly does
don't, you
not.
know, when you're dealing with a quilt, you don't necessarily have to worry about you know, like straight grain with fabric and stuff. You have, you know, if you want your um you know, like certain things like centered on the back or on the arms or the, you know, the sleeves, um you have to be cognizant of that. But you can actually get a lot of garment pieces cut out of a single quilt. So I don't know. I mean, I say to each their own, you know, if you own something and you want to cut it up, that's your prerogative. But
You want to see something else cool? So I guess there was a dealer at the antique mall where I have some cases who dropped off the face of the earth and like abandoned their stuff.
oh,
I've seen it happen twice now, and I've said to people, I'm like, do you think they died and like their kids just
yeah.
didn't know? And they're like,
Yeah.
probably.
Oh, that is
Um,
so sad that they didn't know that they had a booth.
yeah. Well, to be
Hmm.
fair, depending on the kids, they probably wouldn't have wanted to deal with it anyways.
Yeah.
So, um, I was leaving the other day and the manager, I'm like putting stuff in my car and I turn around, the manager scares the crap out of me because he's just like standing there and and don't get me wrong, like we're buddies. Like it's
Yeah, I was
not
gonna say he's
creepy.
your friend.
Yeah, like we're buddies. So, but yeah, like he's just standing there and so I turn around, I'm like, oh, like scared the crap out of me. And then he was like, yeah, so remember that like dealer I was telling you about months ago? Like we've been holding their stuff just in case, but I think they maybe wait like 6 months.
Hmm.
And he's like, and since then we've just kind of been like divvying up their stuff, amongst us. And he was like, and I saved this piece for you. And I run the store's social media. So he was like, this is like, I wanted to make sure you got this one, because you do all this work for us. And
Oh, a pincushion. Oh my goodness, that's a big honker.
it is a big honker. I was just looking to see if I had another one right here for a size comparison because I do have another one that's smaller, but yeah, this is a big girl.
And yeah, I mean that's a period, right? That's not a repro.
So the bottom here, this bottom looks like it might be an addition.
Okay.
Um, I think I think this could be more vintage,
Okay.
and some of these are reproduction fabrics. The person selling it definitely thought that it was real.
How much did they
Um,
have on it?
$200. Um, yeah,
That's
based
a
on
lot.
like,
That's a lot, even if it was real, like real, like
well,
19th century, right?
based on the fabric, um, and stuff, I have a very high suspicion that it's some of it might be like this looks like it might be a real antique piece, but I think this is probably made more vintage than anything. But I was just like, it's cool. Like it'll just live in my
Yeah,
house, you know.
those are so interesting to me.
Yeah,
Like,
they're like they always make me think of starfish.
yeah, or Christmas trees. I've seen ones. In fact, I think I've seen ones where you make like
Yeah,
graduated sizes ones, and you could
that would
stack
be
them.
cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they are a little bit creature like. When you just see one
Yep.
sitting there on a counter, like,
Yep. Yep. So yeah, so I was just like, oh, that's nice. Like, God, I wish I had it taped where I just like, ah! Like he was
he's
scared.
standing there with a creature pincushion. What do
Yeah,
you
he's literally
do?
just like creature.
A
um,
holder for hat pins. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think some of those really big those they almost sort of display pieces that they would put stuff like that, hat pins and things in.
yep, yep. So I figured while we were here chatting, I could just maybe continue playing with some of this stuff. Is there anything particular, Stephanie, you're hoping to look at while you're here that I might have to unearth?
No.
Yeah, you guys, she says that now, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, remember that thing? Like it was like 3 years ago, and it's like buried like in the other corner over there." And I'm gonna
No,
sit there like,
you know what my memory is like.
but I'm literally gonna be like, "So you remember that time that I was like, hey, is there anything that I could get out for you that you might want to see?" Y'all, she's gonna sleep in my office. Do you think we can trust her with all the quilts up there?
I'm gonna bring a suitcase with a faux bottom.
Well, actually, no, you're gonna come here with just a backpack and then like mysteriously leave with a suitcase. I'm like, where did that come from, Mary Poppins? Like,
Nah, I behave myself. I generally don't look in people's like drawers and cabinets and things when I stay at their house. Once upon a time when I was younger, oh gosh, I was terrible. Like if I stayed at people's houses, probably when I was in college and
you
stuff,
were a Snoopy
I was a
McSnooper.
super be like, what's in there? And the thing is, like I personally would end up staying with like
I
family
have
members.
literally seen you do that. I
Like
have literally
where?
in an antique store,
In an
probably.
antique store. I wouldn't do that in somebody's house though anymore. Anymore.
Who are you trying to convince, me or you?
Well, but like I was saying, like I would stay at like a family members' houses, and we had some friends like when my husband and I were dating. They were actually his friends. They were older, and they owned this glorious house. And he was an ER doctor, I think, or he was a doctor. Maybe not an ER doctor, but a doctor. And I can't remember what she did. But they were, I don't think they were retired, but they were maybe close to retirement. In any event, they had this gorgeous house, and it was one of those kind of things like they were collectors of things. And so they had all these like really great things just sitting out, but also many pieces of furniture with lots of drawers. And I was like, what do they keep in here? It's like, what's in there? What's in there? You cannot own a piece of furniture like one of those like apothecary cabinet things with all like 100 tiny drawers and not expect me to want to look in them. I mean, come on. The only thing that would stop me is if you say there is a rat trap in every single one.
There's a Stephanie trap.
But no, I
You know
don't,
what I'm gonna do? Because I
I've heard the
have,
stories about people putting like marbles in their medicine cabinet.
well, like, because I have one of those things here. I'm gonna put some poison in each one, but this is gonna be the Stephanie trap. Each one is going to have a tiny item, just one. And when she picks up the item, there's gonna be
There's
like
a
a poof
tiny
of,
hat in this
yeah,
one.
like a poof of cyanide, that comes up.
And look, there's a tiny pineapple in that one.
Yeah.
You know, I can't help myself. No, but I'm not a snooper anymore. You know, I'm not. I might
Again,
ask. I will ask to snoop. I will be like, what do you have in that piece of furniture there? What is being stored in there? I will ask that question.
body parts.
um yeah,
You know
I
what's
I
cool though? So when I come in here periodically to like reorganize and go through stuff, or maybe I'm feeling uninspired about like what to list next, what to sell next, what to whatever. And I usually tend to, when I buy smaller stuff, I tend to keep them in the bags they come in with the receipt so that they don't get lost before I've put them into inventory.
Uh-oh.
Um
Uh-oh. What
and
has
yeah,
happened
it's
here?
often like,
There we go.
what's the matter?
I think I accidentally opened the snipping tool when I put
Oh,
my keyboard up
that's weird.
to get it out of the way,
Um
and I think it.
it's often like rediscovering stuff. Like, when the hell did I buy this? Um,
Yeah, my mom and I do that all the time. You know, you try to reorganize your junk, and you're like, oh my, I have more things than I thought I did.
well, like, I'm opening this bag and there's like a bunch of quilt blocks in here, and there's a feed sack. Um, so that's cool.
Were these things that you bought for inventory or your own
Mm-hmm.
collecting or?
Inventory. Um, and stuff just gets. I mean, I can see now why there's a couple other like long time retired past dealers that I've talked to over the last few years that will be like, yeah, this is the last of everything I have, whatever. I'm like, oh, cool, neat, whatever. I'll hear from them again the following year. So I found more stuff. And I'm like, well, I thought that you were done. Like, I thought you'd get, yeah, well, I cleaned out, this old bedroom, and then like there was a bunch of stuff in the closet, and like, I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Hey, Druid.
understand. Hi, Druid. Um,
Yeah, I get
that's
it too. You know, I don't have no excuses though because I don't have closets. Um, there is one closet in my son's room and one closet in our guest room,
mm-hmm.
which are full of craft supplies and whatnots. Um, and that's it. Oh, we have the under the stairway, that kind of closet, like under our stairway, but we don't
Mm-hmm.
have like closets otherwise because this house is old. Built at a time when closets full of crap were not a thing.
True story.
Yeah. And so, um,
But I'm also finding some bags that have stuff in here that don't belong, and the no longer need to be in bags.
oh
So
no,
I can
Druid.
I can
She
throw
said
out the
she dreamed.
stuff and bring the bag to Brimfield.
Ah, nice. She said she dreamed that she was pulling quilts out of a dumpster.
Oh my.
Well,
That's like
that's
that's
a
like exciting and frightening at the same
yeah. I
time.
was gonna say it's a nightmare because there were quilts in a dumpster, but exciting that you were rescuing them. Good job, Druid. Yes, I agree. Um, I feel like there's some truth to that in just out there in the stories of quilt people.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. It was somebody. Oh gosh, where did I hear the story? It's It was quilts that were made by somebody, and her family, when she died, her family was just like, we don't want to deal with these old blankets and stuff, so they were throwing them in a dumpster. And it was somebody that lived in the same town and kind of knew her, went by there and was like, oh, and rescued all of the quilts. And now I can't remember the whole story. Is that my umbrella?
Is it?
Yes, I think it is.
Okay, so it must have meant that when like Sunday was helping to unload my car, he must have just taken it out because I just found it in here. I knew it hadn't like gotten lost. I'm just like, I don't know why you ever take an umbrella out of a car.
This
So
is
here
true.
it is.
Yeah. And I feel like a dummy for losing it, cuz I thought I had like literally looped it to the handle of my bag so I wouldn't, leave it.
My puppy just keeps looking at me like, what are we doing in here? Come here, pup.
Oh. Druid, you have the most creative dreams.
Here's a pup.
Aw, our little Ewok.
She doesn't look anything like an Ewok right now. She's a
No, not
Chihuahua.
right now. She's more gremlin like now.
I mean, she behaves more gremlin right now. It's so funny because like when her hair's short, her ears stand up like a Yorkie does. When her hair's long, her ears are floppy. And we are totally team floppy ears in this house.
I think she's adorable with either hairdo and ear positioning.
Like I literally have some boxes in here that I know have quilts in them that I purchased online that I haven't opened.
I see that. That's the thing I do not get. Even when I have something has been shipped to me that is not, like not something I have an immediate use for, or maybe isn't even mine, I have a really hard time not opening the box. you know,
For
I at
me,
least want to I at least want to check on it and make sure it's what it's supposed to be, Like, don't you do that?
no. Because I guess for me, if I open the box, I have to deal with it right away.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So if I don't, it's like Schrodinger's item. If I don't open the box, the item's not there for me to deal with yet.
I see. Okay.
Um, yeah.
Schrodinger's quilt.
I've been
Oh
watching
my
Big Bang
goodness.
Theory lately.
Yeah, that's one of my guilty pleasures. So what is everybody doing this weekend? What are you working on? I forgot to ask everybody at the top of the stream. I'm obviously multi-crafting, as I said. Ah! Marianne's the same! My floor is littered with unopened purchases. Need to find space for it if I open it. Well, I guess, yeah, I mean, I will admit I do have some things that sit around in bags and boxes because they don't have a place. Um I do open them though. I just can't. I can't imagine an unopened box. you know?
Well, you know what the cool thing is about it though is that when I usually am pretty good at remembering what every box likely is.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not like piled up in boxes here, but um, when I do finally get around to opening it, it's like brand new again.
Oh no. Your machine, so like when were you embroidering and it just decided to like just poop out? Um, I know. I feel like embroidery machines that have an embroidery module on them are so finicky. Um, I have two machines with embroidering modules on them, and the one I've used one time, and it worked out okay. Like it was pretty good, but the other one, it was a machine my mom gave me that was it was like it's a Bernina, like a quilting and embroidery machine, and oh my gosh, what a nightmare. Not only do you have to deal with the babysitting, the embroidering, of course, but yeah, it wants to break every time. It wants to stop. Well, glad you have your machine back. And okay, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. You can break, I'd never realized this. Like you can if you break needles, just that like, if it's the needle coming down on like a clump of like embroidery threads or something, I know that it can like cause that whole mechanism in there to kind of get, yeah, like off kilter, and also can mess up the timing of your machine, which is like the probably the besides besides replacing entire parts, I think that timing is the other really difficult thing. I've taken a few machine like restoration and repair classes, and there's some stuff that I'm just like, ooh.
Ouch. So I guess one thing I'll do is while we're standing here, there's a couple of things that have been sitting around that I will open. Like
True, you crack me up. Oh, better needle are made of stainless steel. Okay. So you mean you're talking about the up and down, the thing that you're screwing your needle into. Um yeah, that's kind of like the power, that's like the most powerful part of the machine, really. So hopefully we've got one that's bionic now. Druid, I do not know where the things that your beautiful mind comes up with some interesting things, and I love it. Oh my goodness.
Man, this box is taped like Fort Knox.
Oh, strip the screw holding the needle too. Yeah. Yeah. Sure, it is verging on nightly nightmares. Well, I don't know that they're necessarily nightmares. They're just sort of like they're interesting. They're odd and interesting, and I love that. I love a weird dream. The when you remember the ones that are just like, what is happening? And I don't know. Have any of you ever had a lucid dream? Ever had a lucid dream?
Like what?
So lucid dream is where you are dreaming, but you know you're dreaming.
Oh, yeah.
I've only had a few of those that I can remember. I remember the very first one I had. I think I was probably a teenager, and I was like in this dream, and I'm like, I'm dreaming, and I know I'm dreaming.
You know, the times those dreams tend to happen for me is my alarm to get up will work its way into my dream. And then I'll be
Yeah,
like, dude, your
yeah,
alarm's going off. You have to wake up. You can't sit around in here anymore.
yeah. I think lucid dreaming, like supposedly you can practice and induce lucid dreaming, but I think that for the most part, when it happens organically, I think there's kind of like this set of circumstances, like you're in a particular range within your sleep cycle, like you're in a particular part of REM or something, and you're like, I guess, there's some kind of outside conditions that sort of bring you back up to the surface a little bit. And so, and then there's just some aspect of that you're like, you can recognize that you're not like, this is not reality. I'm in a dream. I specifically remember what it was, and mine was crazy. I was in my parents' backyard being chased by a skunk. And I was like, I realized, like, wait a minute, I'm in a dream. I don't have to run from the skunk. I was like, I'm gonna like Superman it into the back of my dad's pickup truck. And I did, like, I remember in the dream, I was like, I'm gonna Superman this. And I was like, whoo! Like, dove into my dad's truck in the stream and got away from the skunk. And then unfortunately had to wake up then because I think my alarm was going off. And I was like, that was cool. I gotta do that again. Oh my goodness. Lay in your bed and make the room spin. Oh my, it's like watching a ceiling fan, or just you can get there. Is that good or bad, Marianne? I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes it's interesting just have, like interesting sensations and things, but
All right.
yeah.
Here's something I opened.
Uh-oh, what you
I
got?
bought in an auction
Uh-huh.
that made me so pissed off.
Oh no. This is
And
why
I
you
didn't
didn't
open
open
it
it. When
again.
it came, you were like, oh, I'm not even opening it. That auction was terrible.
Okay. So it was an auction full of antique photos, postcards, and things. And they had a ton with quilts, quilt
Okay.
imagery. And I had put in a bunch of bids and left it. I only won one postcard out of like 30
Mm-hmm.
for $10.
Mm-hmm.
When they sent me the bill, shipping was $25. So I reach out to them and I'm like, hey, like, is this a mistake? It's a postcard. Like,
You could probably mail that for $1.50
if
and
that,
even get a tracking number.
if that, they could literally have just put it in an envelope, like a letter envelope. And they were like, no, that's our minimum for any kind of shipping. And I'm thinking, look, I understand having a minimum, but like there has to be a limit here because it it's it's gonna take you more work. So I'm thinking it's gonna come in an envelope, right? This is how they justified the $25 shipping for a postcard.
So that is, I think, I actually have an ethical problem with that.
I do too. Um,
Yeah.
so I open it up. I can't now remember in the moment what it was because I wasn't reading the text. So they put in a ton of bubble wrap, and then yeah, this whole box was just, and that's the like. Of course, I complained to one of our friends, who was like, and she said the same thing. She's like, look, I can understand having a minimum for your shipping to
Mm-hmm.
make it worthwhile, but
Yeah,
she's like,
absolutely.
mailing a postcard doesn't take any effort. It's not like they have to wrap anything. Like I would have argued they didn't even need this cardboard around it. Just put it
So
in a damn
so
envelope.
essentially you paid $35 for this postcard.
Well, with keep in mind there's a premium too. I
Ah, I
paid
didn't even think about that.
$47.
I would be posting about that all over my social media. I would
That's
be going
that's
to
that's also what our friend had said, and she was like, you know something, I think you should fight it and just like not take the item. And I was like, yes. However, auction houses talk,
Hmm.
and I'm like, it's just not worth.
I would maybe like, okay, so maybe not trash them on your Facebook because like I get that I have issues with that too. But I would definitely, if they have like a Google review page or something like that, I would absolutely leave a review to say
Well, I was like,
this was my
at the bare
experience with the auction
minimum,
house.
I will
Buyer
not,
beware.
I won't shop with them again because yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, that's it took you more effort to like put that in this like huge than to just put it in an envelope. Like you
Yeah, I
literally went out of your way.
I think, and I don't know if you guys agree, but I feel like, and I don't misunderstand. I understand, like, I'm sure there's probably many, many things I don't know about running an auction house and just having bought won things at auctions and gone to pick them up in person. I see, like, what they deal with. Like, I mean, it's just, even when it's a well-oiled machine, they still,
Mhm.
it's a big job. And they have,
Mhm.
and I also understand, you have your business requirements and rules and things. But also, I think you buy your customers loyalty by saying, "Hey, we noticed that you only bought," or maybe they didn't even notice, you brought it to them and they said, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, we would not charge you our minimum because this is a piece of ephemera that, and we'll just charge you like $5 or something like that, like something reasonable."
That's what I mean. Like I would have, as the business owner, I would have felt totally unethical charging that. And here's the photo. It's I forget what the title is. I think this is a um this might be a church sewing group, but they have a quilt. They're sitting. They have a quilt on their lap right here.
Oh, that's a cool postcard.
Yeah,
um
yeah. It's brand new. It's unused.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Um,
right. What a way to squash return business. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, even if you
mhm.
don't put it online or tell other people about it, you are telling your friends.
Yeah, I was really, of course, when she was like, "Yeah, no, this is our policy." I of course, our friend was like, "You should fight more," and I'm just like, something, this is not worth my effort. But I'm just like, I won't buy from them again.
Yeah,
Because like I wasn't even like we know some people that would immediately come in really hot and be like, "How dare you?" and blah. I was like, "Oh, has there been a mistake? I thought maybe they meant to charge me 250 for shipping." Um,
and that makes sense. That makes total
mhm.
sense.
Uh-oh. Am I frozen?
Yeah, you were frozen for a second. I was looking around like, oh no, is it me?
Okay.
Is it me
Am I
today?
still? Am I
No, you're
good?
not frozen now.
Okay.
You're not now.
But yeah, man, that freaking now to be fair, I did buy that postcard for myself. Um, so I'm like, because I was
Well,
thinking like,
yeah, because there's absolutely no way. I mean, you if you were buying that for your inventory, you're immediately like way in the hole.
no, and well, and the other thing too is that like, um, I was, there was a part of me that was like, well, I'm gonna like there were some cool ones, and I'm like, well, you know what? Because you guys were so poopy, I'm definitely gonna go back and screenshot all those ones I didn't win, so that I have the images for myself.
Yeah, I would have.
'Cause I'm just like, screw you guys, you were ridiculous.
That's the thing. Like, and here's another thing that while we're complaining about bad people with bad business, and I see this a lot, kind of in like with dealers and stuff, but I'm seeing it more
Mhm.
often now with restaurants and all kinds of things. So in the past, well, so first of all, I have run a business before. I have run a small business. I'm not I'm not completely ignorant of the things that
Mhm.
small businesses deal with. I know that for a long time, lots of people didn't accept American Express because their percentage that they charged the business for,
Oh yeah, I
doing the
remember.
credit card was higher than Visa and MasterCard. So I understand that.
Mhm.
Um, I, you know, they have to take that into consideration in pricing things. So I think about, like, I want to say it was like when our mechanic, like many, many years ago, was like, hey, if you pay in cash, we'll give you a discount. Um, and sometimes we were able to do that and sometimes not. And, when you can, it's great. But I have seen so many now, and that instead of saying pay cash, get a discount, they say, if you're going to pay with card, we're going to tack on 3.5% or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? That is crappy. Either adjust your prices just to take care of it and
Mhm.
don't do that, or flip the script and say, we will give you a discount if you pay in cash.
Mhm. There's a
It
lot of
sounds very
conversation.
different, and you are being a greedy jerk when you do it the other way around.
There's been a lot of conversation about that in the dealer community because um when you're going to go have a booth somewhere, that's part of the conversation is do they charge the vendor credit card fees?
Mhm.
And a lot of places do. They'll charge the vendor, 3%. And then a lot of the conversation will be, no, they charge the customer. And then you'll have people go back and forth of like, you really shouldn't do that. It's just the cost of doing business,
It really
blah, blah,
is,
blah.
yeah, and that's the
And you'll
thing, like, you
have the places that
yes.
go cash or check. Often they'll give you a 10% discount.
Mhm.
Um, just because it's great. Um,
Yeah,
and
right. Yeah, that's how they tack it on, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, like, I agree with you. It's about the cost of doing business, and, like, this is the price, and that covers, and I frankly, like, I'm very watchful, like, when because I buy a decent amount of stuff on eBay, like, sometimes it'll be something that I just want for my collection, or something like the fabric for finishing the
mm-hmm,
bicentennial,
mm-hmm,
because it's poly cotton. I was like, I'm gonna get some vintage poly cotton to finish this. So eBay was my first stop to find, and I found what I wanted at a decent price and made me perfectly happy. And so I like the ones that include shipping and everything.
mm-hmm,
And then you can decide, like, that dollar amount. Say it's just, let's just, for the sake of argument, say it's $50 for this thing and shipping is included.
mm-hmm.
I realized that this is like it's the psychology of sales, the psychology of capitalism, I guess. But it makes me feel better to look at the thing and say, am I willing to pay $50 for this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? And
Yep.
I can make my decision. But when you've got a situation where you've got a person that's like, well, it's going to be $30 and then $20 for shipping, and then we're going to tack on, and it's like, wait a minute. When I get that message, I'm like, it's not worth it to me. you know, and a lot of times it is very psychological, but
Mhm.
I just feel like you're getting one over on me when, you know, and the ones, also the ones that I really, really makes me crazy is they will have like this crazy low price on something or a low starting price on an auction. And you're like, huh, why is this thing so cheap? And you go look at the shipping and you're like, oh, well, it's because they're selling a $50 item for $10 and charging you $40 in shipping.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's manipulative and gross,
Mhm.
you know, because people will often not pay attention and jump on something and try to buy it and then find out after the fact, like, oh no, that was not what I wanted.
Yep.
You know, I didn't want to have, you know, I was looking for a deal and now you're screwing me on the shipping. Like, that sucks.
Mhm.
And I mean, we all know that the post office and UPS and FedEx, like, you know, especially UPS and FedEx, they, you know, as an individual person who's not doing shipping in bulk, like, those are very, very expensive. Um, so, I mean, we all know how it is. But
Mhm. Yep.
did I tell you guys that I found out about this? Like, I have the deal with this quilt now. I know what this quilt is. I
Mm.
probably have told my stream and not you.
Wow, rude.
So, you guys, if you didn't hear, um, I have taken this quilt to several quilt studies, and I got it. It was my grandmother owned it. She didn't make it. She bought it, I'm sure, at an auction or an antique store, and just because she liked it. And you know, I was saying like I think it's probably from the 30s, and my guess is it's maybe it could be a kit quilt, but probably more than likely it's like one of those newspaper quilts, or maybe it's a pattern. I don't know, but
Mhm.
I was thinking 1930s, you know, based on the fabrics. I feel like this is a 30s green.
Mhm.
And, you know, I would ask people, like, have you seen this one? Because I won't say that I have done hardcore research on all of the newspaper quilts ever. But I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of them. So,
Mhm.
you know, and I've seen stuff similar, but not exactly like this. And so yeah, I'm told at some of these quilt studies, like everybody kind of just shrugs their shoulders. I don't know, just keep looking. And oh, it's probably not from the 30s. It's got to be the 50s because of this pink.
Hmm.
Well, our dear friend, who was also my mentor, she happened to be picking up my stream the other day for a few minutes, and she's like, "Oh, the quilt behind you, I love it. It's an Alice Brooks or Laura Wheeler." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I threw down the phone the second I got the text from her and was like on the computer, like looking. And a few minutes later, she messaged me with pictures, literal pictures of the newspaper clippings that, and
Huh.
it's out there. It's Alice Brooks. It's not Laura Wheeler. So Alice Brooks and Laura Wheeler were, you know, the stage name of
Mhm.
some designers, and I think they kind of like they worked together. I honestly I don't know the history. But
Mhm.
they're mentioned, the names are mentioned together, but there are also cases where you'll see a Laura Wheeler pattern or an Alice Brooks pattern, and this is specifically Alice Brooks, and it is 1930s. It is late 30s, like 1938 or something like that.
Wow.
37 maybe. I think there were two different versions of it. There's one that's bigger, like the blocks are
Mhm.
bigger, and it's
Mhm.
I want to say there's one where the blocks are bigger, but they're laid out like this, and then there's one where the blocks are smaller and they're on point. So, but yeah, still 30s, and I'm like, could somebody have not made this in the 30s and you know made it in the 40s? Of course, but
Mhm.
I do think it is earlier than the 50s, even though they keep telling me this is a 50s pink. I don't think this is a 50s pink. I think a 50s pink is a little bit more saturated and bubblegummy.
Mhm.
So I was very excited when she sent me those pictures of clippings. I'm like, ah! And I have to I have to give the shout out to the um long gone Mildred Dickerson, who was not really a quilter, but she collected quilt patterns, and she is the reason why our dear friend can often find things quickly for these newspaper um pattern quilts, because
Mhm.
uh Mildred, like, her goal was to get everything she possibly could.
Mhm.
Um, and she was prolific. And our friend was able, when Mildred passed away, to purchase, or actually, it might have been before Mildred passed away. I'm not sure, but she was able to purchase like a big chunk of her collection. Um, and now that big chunk of her collection actually sits in Nebraska now at the University of Nebraska at Lincoln.
Hmm.
So, and then I think she has our friend has pretty sure she has digital versions of everything, and some of it is actually on the Quilt Index as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we're learning all kinds of things today.
Yeah. But Mildred Dickerson, the reason why I know more about her is because there's a paper about her.
Oh.
Yeah. Mary Kay actually wrote a paper about her in, I think it was 90, 97,
Hmm.
95, 94, something like that.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm always interested in learning about these ladies that, unfortunately we've never were able to meet them because they died, long ago. Um, but Joyce Gross actually wrote a piece. I think she wrote an article. I'm trying to remember. I feel like she wrote an article that was in her newsletter. She had a newsletter, but also I think she wrote a paper about it that was in maybe the first issue of Uncoverings,
Hmm.
perhaps first or second issue of Uncoverings, and it was about like 5 important quilt makers that you should know. And I found that fascinating. I was like, okay, I know who these women are, and some of them wrote books, etc. So, ah, so Jared's question: if let's see, one of your aunts gave you a quilt pattern, literally 3 pieces of brown paper bag, a circle, a leaf, and a very large dogwood blossom, where does the leaf go? um, I guess I'd have to know, how big is the circle? Does the circle look like maybe it's something that goes inside the dogwood blossom, or is it like a big circle? Um, Most likely, I mean, I'm just literally pulling something out of my butt, but most likely it would be like something like this situation where, you've got the placement of the blossom and then probably some embroidery and then a leaf.
Hmm.
Okay, so the circle then. Okay. Um yeah, so with a really big blossom, that might have been like and again, depending on what you're calling huge, I'm picturing like big. It could have been for something that was like what do you call those quilts where it's just like 4 giant blocks? I mean, is there a name for those?
Like a quartered quilt. Hmm.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
pretty.
wondering if it was patterns or something like that.
Hmm.
I think old patterns are fun because you can do what you want with them. They don't
On
necessarily have to be like,
on your quilt, the green piece there inside the pot, is that supposed to be a leaf?
yeah.
It looks like a pickle.
Yeah, it's oddly positioned, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it looked like in the pattern. Yeah. That's the other thing about Laura Wheeler and Alice Brooks. Their patterns were very, very much sought after, but they're kind of, some of them are kind of odd. And I know there's a Laura Wheeler pattern that our friend shared with me. Um, it's a Sunbonnet Sue, but it's all like angles. And I tried to do it with as English paper piecing. Like I printed it on a piece of cardstock and cut it all apart
Mm-hmm.
and then tried to do English paper piecing in it. It kind of turned out, but it was meant to be like every single piece would be a Y seam.
Hmm.
It was crazy. Um, and just sort of odd looking. And so I don't know who was designing for the two of them, because Laura Wheeler and Alice Brooks they're not they're not real people, they're fake names. So,
Speaking of named artists, things. Remember, I was showing you that picture of, which is over there, of that when I was out shopping with our friend Sarah, and I had told her I'm looking for things that are like in like small framed pieces to go
mhm.
in my antique case and stuff. And she was really good at helping me find some, but she kept finding ones that I wanted to keep. And One of them is so cute over there. It's this cute little boy, and it's like his name is Mortimer. And I'm like, oh my god, I have to keep Mortimer. But here's another one that I found. Let's see if I can get the.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, can you see the guy like
I could
standing?
see myself reflected in it.
Yeah, I
No,
know it's hard.
yeah, I could see that he's like a what, like a
Holding,
18th century gentleman.
yeah, holding like a handkerchief. This is a Kate Greenaway.
Oh,
There
okay.
we go.
Interesting.
There we go. There it is without a lot of glare.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yep. And I guess he's part of like three different depictions that are part of like some kind of story or something. I briefly did like an image search on it. Um but yeah, I saw it like when I was kind of like I was scanning like this whole art wall and I saw on the tag Kate Greenaway and I'm like,
I never would have, like, I probably never would have picked that up and not
yeah,
realizing. Yeah, he wasn't shooting. He looked like, it looked like his one arm was like had a cane or something, and it was
he's holding like a
it's
handkerchief
a
kind of.
handkerchief in his hand.
Yeah. That's what at least it looks like to me. Like and he's holding it like daintily.
Daintily.
Yeah, like daintily
It does
holding.
look like he's got a little pistol in his hand, though. It's just like the way it's colored with his hand.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think Kate Greenaway was another one who was prolific. I
Mm,
keep finding
clearly.
things that are attributed to her. Yeah.
There's that antique store that I go to a lot in Sturbridge has a tiny little book like this big of like her
Mhm.
drawings.
Yeah, I feel like I had a children's book at some point in my life that was like a reprint of something.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely Kate Greenaway. That was some smoke for the boom, right? Oh, you've got credenzas on the way. Back to back in the kitchen like an island. Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I want something like that in my.
I might need to see how that looks.
Yeah, that would be a cool. Yeah, that would be so cool to make a runner. And you know the thing is, Druid, with like one big like big pieces, if you were gonna like applique or do like a blanket stitch, like these are all blanket stitched. Um, it's a lot easier. I mean, obviously it's more stitching, but it's a lot easier when you've just got like one big shape
Mm-hmm.
that a blossom and a leaf, and you
Mm-hmm.
can make it look really modern or not.
Yeah. Yeah,
Show
dude.
and tell, yes. You know what? We need to do another show and tell.
Yeah.
We should do that.
I mean,
I
we it's not like we don't have another Stitch and Glitch this month.
yeah. Would you guys send us pictures of stuff if you had things to share?
Yeah, the 23rd. So
Yeah,
we have
you
two
guys will
weeks.
have to send us pictures, but yeah, we could do another show and tell. I did one on my stream a while back, and it was, I think maybe I got two people sent me stuff.
I was gonna say, would you be able to put together a Google form
I could,
quickly
yeah.
for that? Because then we could post it on the social medias.
Oh, interesting. A cupboard with an old refrigerator. Yeah. So is it like one of those like old fashioned, like 1950s type of refrigerators that has that locking handle? The ones that they always tell you to take the door off of so that children don't climb in them. Terrible.
Oh.
um, I stayed at, so up in New Hampshire, I stayed in the oh gosh, it's on Lake Squam, Rocky Walled. It's a camp up there. It's got a
Hmm.
really interesting history, but they in the cabins there, they have these old refrigerators, they're not refrigerators, they're ice box. They're literally ice boxes. They were so cool. I had never I mean, I don't think I'd want to have to live with that,
Hmm.
but yeah, they were so neat. But yeah, I feel like okay. Egg holders inside the door. It's old. Oh, you're painting it pink. Yeah, I think you can repurpose so many neat things, and like, I mean, you could turn it into something it wouldn't even look like what it originally was. But
Hmm.
also, I think it's cool to repurpose a thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Wire
I like.
racks, like, yeah, you could put. I mean, you could put something over them if you needed a solid surface, but you can also hang things from them. I will definitely like to see that when you get that together, Druid. And LJ, you'll send me something. You'll send us something. Um, we could we could do a form, or if you want to just email to Quilt Nerding.
Well, as I say, if you do a form, we can post it on social media.
Okay. All right.
It would just probably better organize things.
A pain to clean. Yeah. My current refrigerator, we have wire shelves. But the two, or well, I think we have one wire shelf and we have one glass shelf. But my two refrigerators before that were glass shelves, and oh my god, they didn't make them in a way that made them easy to just take them out and clean them. They had these like plastic clippy metal, and yeah, it was terrible.
What about some of the refrigerators where they're not removable?
Yeah, how do you clean that? Because yes, I always have some science experiment way in the back that has tipped over and is leaking.
Yeah, no, the last refrigerator that we had, the one that died recently, the shelf that had the drawers under it,
Hmm.
you can't remove it, and something had spilled. It kind of looks like soda or teriyaki sauce, and just dripped enough to sit on the lip of the shelf underneath it. And I
And there's
tried
no way
eight
to.
ways. Yeah, I tried eight
Hmm.
ways through Sunday to get that to pop up so I could wash it,
Yep.
and you can. And I'm like, what are you supposed to? You're probably supposed to get out like a one of those little steamer nozzle things, but I'm just like,
Oh.
I'd rather make a quilted cover to put inside. I just can't be bothered to do surgery like on the interior of the refrigerator because people are ridiculous.
Yeah. So Marion has a curling quilt. I think
I
I
read
remember you
I
talking
read the
about that.
full of boo-boos too quickly and thought it said something else, and I'm like, why does a curling quilt have a bunch of those?
Somebody wants to pay you to make another one, but you said no. you know,
Smart.
Mad respect for knowing when you're like, not doing that again. But I would love to see it. And you know what? Who cares about boo boos? Done is better than not done.
Finished is better than perfect.
Yep. Oh, so Druid has a space just for the refrigerator. It's hard to buy a piece for. Got it. Okay. Yeah. You guys are all great. You have so many great creative ideas. I love it. I should yeah, we should gather all of our nerds up and we'll do like a cross country track to do creative maneuvers at everybody's house. Storage. Okay.
Oh my God,
Uh fr-
decoupage.
a friend of your daughter's. Well, you know, friends sometimes rate. They sometimes rate a nice gift, a nice handmade gift. Decoupage. Oh, you know what? I recently bought, and I think they're probably still good. But there's a woman that makes them is um water slide decals. You guys remember those? I don't see them, like I don't know that they make them anymore necessarily, but there is a woman I think on eBay that make, or not eBay, Etsy. On Etsy that makes some really cool ones, like really old, like they're like children's bedroom nursery type ones that I bought. But Meyercord is the brand name of like from the 70s, and those are all over eBay. And you can get them for like nothing. And I've been dying to like just water slide decal the heck out of something.
Hmm.
A professional curler. There's not too many of those, you know? I mean, curling is a like a
It's weird.
well, yeah. I mean, it is an unusual sport, but I would imagine. I mean, again, I'm actually surprised at the number when I was, at the Olympics, the Winter Olympics. I was surprised at the number of countries that actually had curling teams. Um, that it I guess has just become, or over the years.
They scout them out from cleaning crews that know how to scrub a mean floor.
Come on now. I bet that's offensive to real curlers. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an Olympic sport, absolutely. Like, but it's one of the more, I don't want to say obscure because I don't think it's obscure anymore.
It's just weird.
But
It's weird.
it
It's
is
weird.
a unique sport. Yeah. I mean, because I'm always kind of like, it's almost like bowling, a little bit like shuffleboard, also a little bit like scraping gum off the floor, and then kind of like, well, I mean, I guess it's like pool, but also like shuffleboard is like you're kind of the same deal. So shuffleboard on
Well,
ice is essentially what it
all I
is, right?
really ever think of when I see them do it is like, you know how if you work in retail, the last thing you want to do is go home and fold your clothes and put them away because you've been folding clothes all day at work. I kind
Yeah.
of feel like the last thing those guys want to do is go home and clean a floor because because not only have they been like doing the act of cleaning a floor, they're doing it like crazy people. Like
Yeah, the people with the mops. Um I'm always so curious, like how do they not, like how do they keep pace with it? Like I would be like something would distract me and the thing would hit the, what, I mean, what do you call the I think they're called brooms, aren't they?
I think so.
Maybe I'm making that up, but I feel like they're called brooms. And yeah, so I
No,
would
I'm
be
with you.
like,
Like, how do they not hit the ball? How do they
or
not
trip
hit
over yourself,
or
yeah,
hit
or
the other
like
person
hit
they're
the
with?
rock. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, we could sit here and make fun of it, but I think it is a sport that has a lot of skill involved.
I never
So
said they
yeah.
were unskilled. It's just weird.
It is weird. There, there are sports that you're like, how did this become a sport? um, but I think curling is
Like
also extra interesting
like
because those rocks, the rocks don't just come from anywhere. They only come from one place in the world.
or
It's
like
like it's in
what's her face
Scotland.
with the breakdancing?
Oh my god. You know what? I love breakdancing. I think it is so cool to watch people that have
Oh,
like
she
learned
did
the skill.
breakdancing dirty. Like she
Oh
did
my
that
god,
so
yes.
dirty.
Oh my god, yes. Like I just, oh, and and if she talked about how humiliated she was and how it just like had, she had to like be out of the spotlight for a while. Like she had, and I was like, you know what, girl, you brought that on yourself. Like you know that you were not a legit good breakdancer and you took a spot from people that were really actually talented.
It
Oh, she
also
made me so
makes
mad.
me think that she had no friends. Cause I'm just like,
I don't,
no one was good enough friends with you to like burst that bubble and be like,
I still don't understand how did she, because I mean, the way you get into the Olympics is
I
by
think she was like
winning,
the only one.
I guess, but like I mean, you get in by winning local and regional events, like you work your way up and yeah. But on the flip side of that, as much as I mean, literally love breakdancing, like to see people that know how to do like all those different styles of like,
Hmm.
movement, like, cause I have two left feet and don't ask me to do anything that is remotely coordinated. So my uncle was a Arthur Murray dance instructor, and he was very frustrated with me at all times because I'm like, um, so mad respect for breakdance, people that do breakdancing and related. But like, how does it? I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I guess it's not that much different than say a figure skating or some of the gymnastics, like the floor routines. In judging because it's subjective judging. It is not, you know what I mean? Like
Well, they're judging
take
them based on technique and how hard something is and their
yes, yes.
execution of it. And
Well, right. That's the thing, and it's like my whole thing is if you don't mess up or make a total fool of yourself, like Raygun did, um, I mean, how do you look at two people that are so talented and say like this one's better than this one? You would have to be like you would have to be a breakdancer yourself and know like that particular trick or movement is much harder to do flawlessly
then the kangaroo
than
that she did.
see that I can do that breakdancing, y'all. That woman,
And
oh,
even still, I still think you got the like better than she did.
I do that sometimes just to mess with her. Because there are so many memes with her like in that with her foot up.
Well, it was one of those things where like I did not pay any attention whatsoever to the Olympics. Like not at all. It's really nothing I'm into. And I almost like when that was happening, I'm like,
We did
girl's
watch.
gotta be trolling. Like she's got to be trolling them. Like there's no way. Like this has to be staged. Like there's no way that she somehow was like, yeah, I got the moves. And that's
Yeah,
when I like
I
once I
don't
found
know.
out that
I
she was
mean,
like, no, I'm so serious and I'm like humiliated on this. I'm like, girl, you don't have any friends.
really? Well, or she has people in her life that are yes men that are like, "Oh yes. Yes, Rachel, you are the best. Yes, Rachel, the sun sets, rises and sets on you. Oh, yes, Rachel, you deserve to be in the Olympics." And they are just as delusional as her.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, you know, because I'm gonna tell you right now, Steph, if you came at me with those moves and were like, oh my God, and that's so great, and like, don't get me wrong, I fully believe in like uplifting your friends and encouraging them, but I would have been like, no, I will not let you go on national television, international television, and make a
International.
fool of yourself. Like,
Seriously. I mean really, like if she's, she's fully delusional. But I feel sorry for her to think like she didn't have anybody in her life that said no. Absolutely not. That said, we do watch the Olympics, like not necessarily like everything all the time when they're on, but we watched a lot of luge and skeleton this year. That is like, who came up with that sport?
I can't watch luge. It's terrifying.
So luge and bobsledding, I can see where that probably comes from. Like, you live in icy place, somewhere in the north, like Scandinavian countries, Canada, northern parts of the US. Snowy, I get it. Anywhere there's like an incline, you could get on
And you
some type
and
of recreation, sit in a
someone
box
was
and slide
like
down. Yes.
I gotta invent a way to get to work fast.
Well, but I mean, I see like the recreation in it, and then I could see how it could become like, oh, well, wait a minute. What if we had this like road that curved? What if you went down that? Like, how would that be? I could see how that evolves. The one I do not understand is skeleton, is that's where you go head first. And I'm like, that is just a brain injury.
It's
That's a
well,
brain injury waiting to happen.
it's called skeleton because the risk you take that you will
You will
finish
become one
as
by the
an
end of.
actual skeleton. Um, because if you hit something, the force will cause all of your skin to come off.
Seriously, that's the one. And I mean, and that one, even I understand the evolution there, because it's like, okay, how can we make luge harder?
Not
We've already
harder. How can you make it more
more
terrifying?
insane. Yeah. Well, yeah, but it is harder because you're like, you're face down, and when you're on your back, you kind of can lift your head up and see where you're going. But when you're like, have to edge your head up like that, it's crazy. It's scary. It's,
You don't
yeah.
see where you're going. There's no
Well, see,
choices.
that's the thing. They don't. They kind of know the route. Like, they can walk. I think they can walk it or something. Like, they can look at it beforehand. They can, or maybe I'm thinking of skiing. I know there's one of the sports, like, they can look at the route. Like, they, like, oh, there's this like really crazy sharp turn, or there's this and that. They know the lay of the land, but they haven't actually done it yet. And that's the part I'm just like, oh. But yes, major. Well, there have been some like fatalities in previous Olympics with luge and
Yeah, and
skeleton.
you're like, you know what? This still is great. Let's keep going. Or like that scene in Wayne's World. Let's just keep going, Wayne.
Yeah. People who looked for sledding hills called Deadman's Hill. Yes, but you know what? I grew up. The house my mother lives on, still to this day, you drive up the driveway, and it's probably like, I would put it at 45 degrees, maybe. It's a crazy slope. And no surprise, my parents paid less for that house than the house that was for sale across the street at the same time. Our house was cheaper because nobody wanted that crap. But yeah, so 45 degrees up, and then it kind of curves around the back of the house, and then you can either pull into the carport, or there's a space like straight back that, and plenty of parking, obviously. But um in the winter, oh my god, forget about it. It was great to sled down it when I was little, to like just sit at the top and then just go down. I mean, no sled, no nothing, just lay at the top and fall down the hill. It was fun. And down the driveway, I was foolish enough as a child, two different occasions, one with roller skates, one on a bicycle, to go straight down the hill. After that, I put my skates on at the bottom of the hill and walked my bike down because, oh my gosh, scary. And my parents, like, if we had bad snow and bad ice and stuff, if my dad wasn't able to keep up with shoveling it, and we never got a snowblower. It was like, they never had the money to buy a snowblower. So if they couldn't manage it, like, they just had to park at the bottom, like off the side of the street. And the neighborhood doesn't have sidewalks, so you're kind of like in a ditch because there was no way to get up. I mean, you literally sit and like try to get a car that does not have front wheel drive up.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. My mother broke her ankle trying to get down to get the mail one time. I mean, it was crazy. And my mom still lives on this. And she has
Yeah.
to pay the lawn guys extra because they do not want to mow her grass. That front hill, nobody wants to mow it. Because you have to do it with a push. You can't do like a riding mower because like you just
Mm-hmm.
tip right over. So yeah.
And I'm assuming she has it plowed now.
Sometimes, yes. This past winter they had I'm trying to remember which snow it was. There was one snow where I think you and I didn't get it as bad as like Virginia and South did because
Mm-hmm.
it came like from a weird angle or something. And so my mom ended up having like a good amount of snow for like a minute. And yeah, she's like, I got enough food. I'll be okay. And then eventually she met, I think it's somebody at the place she has her nails done. And their son he had bought a snowblower. He was like 18 or 20 and he'd bought a snowblower and was gonna, was doing people's yards and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Man.
it's crazy the driveways and the things that like, I mean, the town I grew up in is like really very central Virginia. And Virginia's a state that's got like a lot of, states on the East Coast. You've got on one side, you've got the beach, the shore, because you're right up against the Atlantic. On the other side, you have a mountain range.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle, it's a little bit of both. I mean, we have like rolling hills where I grew up. And, the topography is such that they would plunk these neighborhoods down in these places and with these rolling hills. And so some people have an insane front yard and driveway. Some people have an insane backyard. Like the children can't play because the backyard just drops off into a stream. It's crazy. I mean, I'm glad I live on higher ground, but flat. It is flat here.
Yeah, I go into Bonnie Hunter's retreat house, um,
Oh, yes, that's down there.
south
That's
of Wilson, Virginia. When you're driving on the roads to get down to one of the towns in either direction, no, just in one direction. In the other direction, it's all like going over mountains. Um, the road's following a stream, and
mm-hmm,
it's like 55 miles an hour with
mm-hmm,
like tons of like sharp corners and
mm-hmm.
stuff. And then when you're on the side that's right next to the stream, there's nothing there.
Oh yeah, there's no guardrails or anything. You just like
Yeah,
look over.
there, yeah, it's just like the road, and then like there isn't even a margin for any error. Like if someone like comes into your lane or something and you try to dodge them, you're going into the
Mm-hmm,
stream. Um,
mm-hmm,
and I was in the car with the woman that was hosting our retreat. Um, and she drives a big truck, and which, despite what other people feel, that does not make me feel safer. Um, and she was getting a little distracted while she was driving like 60, and kind of gets a little like close to the edge where and I'm like, and then she's just like, oh, sorry. And I'm like,
Imagine
um
being on those roads in a bus. That's even scarier. And that's the thing, like you would think like, oh, you're in something bigger. It's safer if it no. A passenger bus going 55 down those roads, that is terrifying. And yes, Marianne, they were called runaway truck lanes.
yeah.
And they have them here, Western Maryland, not far from me. that is they start, because I guess I'm probably 45 minutes probably from the first like mountain. I think it's Smith Mountain. And yeah, driving out there, I don't go out there very often, but driving out there, it's pretty crazy. And you think to yourself, please don't let a truck be barreling down on me at this moment when I'm driving my little chug 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 chug.
Yeah, driving up to her place, you do that, like, cycle up a mountain and then cycle down a mountain, and
Mhm.
sometimes, like, it's
Mhm.
a good, and it's one of those things where you can't go up it fast even if you wanted to because it's too much of a slope, but some of the they're like hairpin turns, and there were a couple of times that coming the other way was like an 18-wheeler, and it was like, hold your breath.
Can you imagine traversing those mountains and stuff back in the 18th, 19th century?
No, I think it's bad enough even in a car
Yeah, I mean it's
with
nuts.
things like air conditioning.
I can't even imagine how, settlers and anybody ever left the East Coast. Because I mean the bravery.
Mhm.
I I mean I same. I don't like to drive west and have to deal with those mountains.
Yeah, it can be pretty nuts. That is one of the reasons why I went down to Bonnie's retreat house twice, and then I one of the
They
reasons
had
why I was
breaks.
like, yeah, maybe not so bad. No, maybe not so much now. It's gorgeous there. It's really cool. I like
Yeah.
it. But one, I don't do great in altitude. It's significantly higher than sea level. Um, and it's just such a trek to get there. Um, in the
Hmm.
middle of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. Even if
In the
you
back.
live in Virginia, even living in
Yeah,
Virginia, I'm like that is far away.
the first time I went there, I actually had to go to the emergency room because I was having altitude sickness. Um, and we had to go to North Carolina to go to the emergency room. I was there all day while they ran a barrage of tests. Like altitude sickness was the last thing that they considered. Um, and I was just like, this is really nice and everything, but like it's a trek to maybe I'll
Yeah.
go to some
Well,
things that are closer.
yeah, so like I always call it like, going down into the toe of Virginia. If you think about Virginia being like a weird sort of shoe shape, it's down there in that toe, and it's really close to, well, I mean, you're right on the border of North Carolina and Tennessee. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
so
mean it was
pretty.
cool.
It's so pretty there.
The backyard, there's these big, hills right there. Across the street is a Christmas tree farm. The backyard in the hill, the neighbor has cows, and you'd see the cows spotted all along the hill in the backyard.
And you
Um,
often wonder, those cows, and then I see other types of livestock like sheep and goats and stuff. You always wonder, do they have one set of legs that's shorter? Because they always seem to be standing upright, but they're standing on like a.
you would be the person to think of. Yeah, we'll like see you like out there across because there's a little stream that separates her backyard from like the neighbors where the cows are, but it's a small stream. You could jump across the stream, but like we'd get up in the morning and she's got this great like wraparound porch. It's an old antique farmhouse. You can sit on the porch and eat, and we'd be sitting. We'd sit out there and then look over and be like, "What the hell is Stephanie doing?" And
She's
she's got
measuring the
the
cow
tape
legs,
measure. Yeah, she's measuring. Like, sorry to bother you. Can I just whoop? Like,
inquiring minds want to know.
well, guys, speaking of inquiring minds, inquiring tummies would like food.
Yeah, I did not have. I sort of gobbled down my lunch a long time ago, so I'm ready. I'm ready to go cook some dinner now.
Yeah. Well, I was like, gotta make sure to go longer because we were late because of me. But yeah, I
We
got
forgive you.
my first house guest arrives tomorrow. Stephanie arrives Thursday. So I've also got some more stuff to do. But
So I'm gonna try and finish this
in
by the time
time.
I get to you, so I can bring it and hide it somewhere to scare you. I will hide it somewhere in your house and you'll find it one day.
Yeah, and then I'll call you like, "Oh my god, I found this, like, big, disgusting, like, rotted, like, possum."
Well, that's the thing though. It's not that big. I think it's only going to be about this big.
Mm,
So, well, you
mm.
guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday for our stream. And if you follow along with me, I'll be there on Monday.
Happy Mother's Day
So
to any
yeah, happy Mother's
mothers.
Day to you guys that have kids, and bless you for
Well, actually,
dealing
you know
with
what?
children.
Well, and no, happy Mother's Day to us that have puppers
Okay,
and fur
yes. Also,
babies too.
yes. Also, if you are a pet parent, you also Mother's Day. But see, you have a much more delightful mothering experience because mothering children is much.
Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
Yes, yes. I will be. I'll be on Monday, Druid. But the rest of the week I won't be. So I'll see you
All right,
guys.
y'all.